The boarding announcement was halfway through its second call when my son said it. Mom, so about the seats. We only bought one first class. Charlotte's been having a rough time with her back, and the kids needed to be near her, so we put you in row 32. It's a good seat. Aisle. You'll be more comfortable back there anyway. He said it lightly. He said it while looking at his phone. He said it in the precise tone a person uses when they have rehearsed a sentence in front of a mirror and decided that confidence was the better part of cruelty. We were standing at gate B14, Frankfurt, then Cape Town, 18 hours in the air. I had paid for 4 business-class tickets in March because Bennett, my son, Bennett Whitaker, 46 years old, had called me crying about a stretch of bad months and the kids' school deposits and how Charlotte was burned out and how the family really needs this trip together. I had said yes before he finished the sentence. I had wired the money the next day. $22,400 for 4 seats, Bennett, Charlotte, their 2 children, and me. I had insisted on flying out with them because Bennett had said, "Mom, the kids really want Grandma there for this. It's a family thing." A family thing. I stood at the gate, in the wool coat my late husband Philip had bought me, in Edinburgh in 2008. I was holding my passport in one hand and a small leather travel bag in the other. Inside the bag was a wrapped present for my granddaughter Imogen, whose 9th birthday we were going to celebrate at a wine farm outside Stellenbosch. A small pewter compass on a chain engraved with her initials. I had carried it through 3 security lines. I looked past Bennett's shoulder. Charlotte was already walking toward the priority boarding lane with the children. The boarding pass in her hand was the same colour as the one Bennett was holding. Cream cardstock with a small gold-embossed seal. Business class. The boarding pass in my hand was white. Plain white. 32C. Economy. I did not say anything for a moment. I let the silence sit between us. I have learned, over 73 years, that silence is the most expensive thing a woman can offer when she is being quietly humiliated. People rush to fill it. Bennett rushed. "Mom, it's only a flight. You'll watch a movie, you'll sleep. Charlotte really needs to lie flat. Her back." Bennett. "Mom, you said you bought one first-class seat." Yes. I mean the 4 business class. Mom, you know what I mean. The point is, we needed to redo the configuration because of Charlotte, and the back row of business was already taken, so You bought 4 business class seats with my money in March. Yes. And the configuration on this aircraft has not changed since March. He blinked. And Charlotte's back has been bothering her since 2019. His mouth opened, his mouth closed. The boarding announcement called row 26. Bennett, where is the 4th business class seat? Mom, Charlotte's mother. We thought last minute she could come, and the kids really wanted their abuela, and so we just... Charlotte's mother is on this flight. Mom, please don't make a scene. There it was. The sentence every woman in this position eventually hears. Don't make a scene. As if my dignity were the disturbance, and not the carefully orchestrated theft of it. I did not make a scene. I have never in my life made a scene. I looked down at my boarding pass. 32C. I looked at Bennett. He had not yet realized that I had stopped breathing through my nose. Bennett, I am going to ask you one question, and I would like you to answer it with one word. Mom, did Charlotte's mother know? He hesitated. Did Charlotte's mother know, Bennett, that the seat she is currently boarding in business class was paid for by me, on the assumption that it was mine? Mom, One word, Bennett. Yes or no? A long pause. Around us the gate continued boarding. A flight attendant in a teal scarf smiled at a passing couple. Yes. Thank you, sweetheart. I closed my passport. I tucked it into the inside pocket of my coat. I picked up my leather travel bag. I turned around calmly. the way a woman turns when she has just decided something irreversible, and I began walking back the way we had come, down the long terminal carpet toward the airport exit. Mom. I did not turn around. Mom, where are you going? The flight, Mom, please. I kept walking. I heard him take 3 steps after me, then stop. I heard the boarding announcement call row 32. I heard Charlotte's voice, somewhere ahead in the priority lane, laughing at something one of the children had said. I kept walking. The Uber I called from the curb cost $42. I sat in the back seat with my passport in my lap, and my hands folded over it, the way a woman folds her hands over something precious in a moving car. The driver did not speak to me, which I appreciated. The terminal disappeared behind us. 8 lanes of highway opened up. Somewhere above me, a plane I had paid for was lining up on a runway, with a seat I had paid for occupied by a woman who had known. I did not cry. My hands didn't tremble. By the time I unlocked my front door, I had decided 3 things. The first was that I would be in bed before sunset. The second was that I would not cry today. The third was that I would call my lawyer in the morning. I took off my coat. I hung it on the hook Philip had installed in 1998. I went into the kitchen. I made tea Earl Grey in the chipped china cup he had bought me in London in 1993. I sat at my own kitchen table by the window, and I let myself remember. Not everything, just the parts I had been training myself not to look at directly for the last 15 years. The Christmas of 2009, the first Christmas after Bennett married Charlotte. Charlotte's mother, Vivian, who had insisted from the day they met that I call her Vivi, like the family does, had been seated at the head of the table. I had been seated next to the high chair. When I had mentioned it gently in the kitchen afterward, Charlotte had laughed and said, "Margaret, it's just easier when Vivi sits where she's used to." The summer of 2014, Imogen's christening. The godmother slot had gone to Charlotte's sister. I had been told the day of the ceremony, in the church narthex, while wearing the cream silk dress I had bought specifically, because Bennett had once mentioned in passing that Charlotte was photographing everything for the family album. "Mom, we just thought it would be weird to have her parents there and not give Vivi's family the role." I had said, of course. I had said it 3 times that day. The fall of 2018. Bennett and Charlotte had moved into a larger house. I had contributed $60,000 to the down payment. The housewarming party had 90 guests. Charlotte's mother had given the toast. The toast had thanked the family who built this house with us. My name had not been mentioned. I had clapped. I had clapped harder than anyone, because if you clap hard enough, the people next to you do not see your hands shake. The Mother's Day of 2022. Charlotte had hosted brunch. There were 2 corsages on the welcome table. One was for Vivi. The other had a small card that read, "For my mother-in-law," in Charlotte's writing. The corsage had wilted because it had been delivered at 6 a.m. and left on the porch in the sun. I had pinned it to my blouse anyway. The funeral of my husband, Philip, 18 months ago. Bennett had given the eulogy. He had spoken for 9 minutes. He had thanked Charlotte's parents for being like a second set of parents to me when I needed them. Philip had been in the ground for 42 minutes by the time Bennett finished speaking. I had stood beside the grave, alone, and I had counted 3 crows on a fence post across the cemetery, and I had not cried because Philip would have wanted me to wait until I got home. 15 years of a slow, polite, well-orchestrated transfer of mother-in-law from me to her. 15 years of small instructions about where I belonged in my son's family. I had laughed. I had laughed every single time. There comes a moment when a woman runs out of laughter. I called Beatrice Pendrick at 8:47 the next morning. She had been Philip's lawyer for 31 years and had been mine since the morning after his funeral. She picked up on the second ring. "Margaret. B." I need to come in this morning. Aren't you supposed to be on a plane to Cape Town? I came home. A pause, just a brief one. What time? Now. I'll move my 10 o'clock. I dressed carefully. The charcoal wool skirt Philip had said made me look like I owned a bank. The cream silk blouse with the small mother-of-pearl buttons. The pearl earrings he had given me on our 35th anniversary. When you are about to reorganize a life, you do not dress like someone who has been seated next to a high chair. Beatrice's office on Grand Avenue smelled of paper and oolong tea. She wore her usual navy. Her reading glasses sat on a chain against her chest. She did not stand up when I came in. She just gestured at the leather chair opposite her desk and slid a yellow legal pad across to her side. Tell me from the beginning. I told her. Frankfurt, Cape Town, 22,432C. Vivian, in business. Don't make a scene. The walk back down the terminal. The $42 Uber, the chipped china cup. When I was finished, Beatrice did not speak for a moment. Then she said, very quietly, Margaret, the trip you paid for, was it on a credit card or a wire transfer? Wire. Direct from your account to Bennett's? Yes. He said he would handle the bookings to get a corporate discount through Charlotte's firm. Did he? I don't know. I assumed. Beatrice wrote something on the yellow pad. Her pen made the small, precise sound it always makes when she has just spotted a door. Other people have not noticed. Margaret, what do you want to do? I want my money back. I want it back this morning, and I want to talk about the rest. The rest meaning? The rest meaning B, that for 15 years I have been quietly funding a family that is no longer mine, and I would like to fund something else now. She nodded, once. We worked for 2 hours. The wire transfer to Bennett in March had been documented as a family loan on the memo line. Beatrice had insisted on this, back when I told her about the trip. Margaret, never wire money to your son without writing the word loan on it, just in case. That single word, on a single line, was now the difference between a gift and a debt. Beatrice drafted a demand letter, calling in the loan. $22,400, payable within 30 days. Then we drafted the second document, the harder one. I had a will, drawn up the year after Philip died. Bennett was the primary beneficiary. The house, the investments, the small property in Maine, the savings, all of it was scheduled to flow to him on my death. We changed it. Imogen and Theo, my grandchildren, would each receive a trust at age 25. Bennett would no longer be trustee, Beatrice, and her partner would. The house would be sold on my passing, and the proceeds split equally between the two trusts. The main property would go to a small writing residency for older women, the one I had attended for 2 summers in 1999 and 2001. When I was 46 and still believed I might write a book, they had taken me in when I was the oldest woman in the room and treated me like I had something to say. I had never repaid them. I would now. We worked through everything else. The retirement accounts. The healthcare proxy Bennett removed. Beatrice's partner installed. The financial power of attorney Bennett removed. A professional fiduciary installed. The small annuity Philip had set up in Bennett's name as a beneficiary. I could not legally change that one, but I could redirect every other instrument I controlled. By 11:15, every piece of paper that had quietly named my son as the recipient of my life had been redirected. Beatrice stacked the papers neatly. She slid them into a folder embossed with my name. She walked me to the door. Margaret. Yes. The main residency. They will weep. B. I have been weeping into other people's centerpieces for 15 years. It's somebody else's turn. She laughed. It was the first laugh I had laughed in 24 hours. I had turned my phone off in the Uber the day before. When I turned it back on at 4 o'clock, a small avalanche of notifications arrived. 11 missed calls from Bennett, 6 from Charlotte, 2 from Vivian, which surprised me. 19 text messages. I made tea before I read any of them. Then I sat down at my kitchen table. The first voicemail had come in 20 minutes after the plane took off. Mom, Mom, where are you? Did you go home? The flight is... I can't believe you just walked away. The kids are upset. Charlotte is upset. Mom, please call me when you land, when you get home, when you please just call me. The second, 3 hours later. He must have boarded the plane and waited until the Wi-Fi turned on. Mom, I've been thinking about it for the whole takeoff. About what you said, about Vivi knowing. Mom, I am so sorry. I really am. I let Charlotte talk me into it, and I should have just please call me, please. The third, from Charlotte. 8 hours after takeoff. Margaret, hi. Listen, I think there's been a misunderstanding. The seats got reshuffled at the last minute because of my back, and Bennett tried to fix it, but the upgrade list was closed. I'm so sorry it landed the way it did. But honestly, I think pulling out of the trip altogether was a lot. The kids are heartbroken. We can talk when we land. I noticed she did not call herself Vivi's daughter in that message. She did not call her mother by name. She called the upgraded passenger the seats. She used the passive voice. Passive voice is what people use when active voice would name them as the perpetrator. The fourth voicemail from Vivienne was the one that surprised me. Margaret, it's Vivian. I want you to know that I did not understand the situation when I took the seat. Charlotte told me there was an extra seat and that I was being a wonderful surprise for the kids. I did not know it was your seat until we were in the air and Bennett told me. I am so sorry, Margaret. This is not how I would have wanted any of it. Please call me when you can. I'd like to talk to you woman to woman. I read that one twice. The fifth voicemail. Bennett again. They had landed. His voice was thin. Mum, we landed. The trip it's a disaster. Imogen is asking why you're not here. Theo cried twice already. Charlotte and her mother had a fight at baggage claim. Mum, please. Please call me back. I don't know how to fix this. I deleted 3. I kept 2 Vivienne's and Bennett's last one. I put the phone face down. I made another cup of tea. There is a particular feeling a woman gets when the people who have been instructing her for 15 years suddenly need her to be reachable. It is not satisfaction. It is something quieter than satisfaction. It is the feeling of finally being on the correct side of a closed door. Bennett came to my house on the following Wednesday. He had flown back early. He had left Charlotte and the children in Cape Town with the trip I had paid for, which I considered a small additional cruelty I would not soon forget. He stood on my porch in jeans and a wrinkled shirt. His eyes were red. He had not shaved. I opened the door halfway. Not all the way. Halfway. Mom. Bennett. Can I come in? You can stand there and say what you came to say. He flinched. Then he nodded. Mom, I'm so sorry. About the seat, about lying. About the seat, about Charlotte's mother. I should have told you. I should have said no when Charlotte suggested it. I should have given Vivi my own seat if she really had to come. I shouldn't have moved you to economy without telling you. I shouldn't have told you at the gate. I don't know what I was thinking. You were thinking that I would absorb it, Bennett. The way I have absorbed every other small humiliation Charlotte has arranged for me over the last 15 years. He winced. That's not. It is, sweetheart. We can both know it's true. It is a kinder conversation if we don't lie to each other today. He looked down. After a long moment, he said, Mom, I got the letter from Beatrice about the loan. Yes. $22,400 in 30 days. Yes. I don't have it. I know you don't. What am I supposed to do? I tilted my head. Bennett, that is the first time in 15 years you have asked me a question that wasn't, Mom, can you cover this? I want you to notice that. He looked up. You can pay it in installments. Beatrice will draft a schedule. I am not interested in destroying you financially. I am interested in being clear. Clear about what? That love is not the same thing as access. I will always be your mother. I will always love you. But I am no longer paying for the privilege of being seated next to high chairs, while another woman is called the family. I am no longer wiring $22,000 to be put in row 32. I am no longer pretending. Mom. Bennett, I am not finished. He stopped. The will has been revised. I don't say this to frighten you. I say it because you should know. The house, when I die, will be sold. The proceeds will go to the children's trusts. You will not be the trustee. The main property will go to a writing program that took me in once when I needed somewhere to be a person, and I would like to be that for someone else now. The rest of the estate has been redirected. You will not be left with nothing. You and the children will be cared for through the trusts. But the gravitational center of my financial life is no longer pointed at you and your wife. He stared at me. Mom, that is what I have decided. Charlotte will manage. Charlotte managed in business class while I sat in row 32. She is a managing woman. He almost laughed at that. It was a small, choked sound, and then his face crumpled, and he sat down on my porch step and put his face in his hands. I let him. I did not move. I did not soften. I did not say it's all right. It was not all right. It would not be all right for a long time, and it was not my job to make it all right faster than the truth was ready to allow. After a while, he wiped his face. He stood up. Mom, will you let me come back? As my son, yes. As a man who lets his wife arrange the seating at his own mother's expense, no. Will you see the children? Always. Through the front door. With or without you, Imogen and Theo will always have a grandmother. They will not always have access to my furniture or my checkbook, but they will always have me. Mum, yes. I love you. I know, sweetheart. I love you too. That is exactly why this is the conversation we are having. He nodded. He walked to his car. He drove away. I closed the door. Halfway, then all the way. The deadbolt clicked. I went back to my kitchen. The chipped cup was still on the table. The tea had gone cold. I poured it out and made a fresh one. That night I sat at my kitchen window and I wrote one line in the small notebook I had started keeping the morning. Philip died. They sat me in row 32, so I sat myself at the head of my own table. Then I closed the notebook, and I drank my tea. And I slept the way a woman sleeps when she has finally stopped boarding flights to places where her seat was never really hers, because she has finally decided to stay home, and to make the home itself worth flying back to.